You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up the better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheap again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the fourth part of What If Naruto Meets Clonehigh. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of FANFICTION on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Clonehigh. It was a normal day for the students of Clonehigh, and said students were arriving at school for the day. While everyone is going nuts over the pre-midterms, Joan said as she noticed that most of the students were nervous, some were even chugging coffee and going over notes. Everyone but Frida and Solana, they are always chill, Harriet said as she gestured to said clone who was looking through her locker with her normal laid-back attitude. Not Solana, girl's been more stressed lately, Frida said as she leaned against a tree. 3 guesses why, Cleo said with a scoff as she approached. They all look over to where Naruto and his friends are hanging out near the doors where Solana is walking by. Hey girl. When are we gonna hook up? Naruto called out to the female clone. Please, Solana said with a scoff as she rolled her eyes as she walked through the doors into the school. Solana. Solana, that's okay. She'll be back. Another quaalude, she'll love me in the morning, ain't that right sis? Naruto said with a Cuban accent before looking to Joan. You love asking for trouble, aren't you? Joan said with a sigh at this. Abe shook his head at this before he turned to Gandhi, who had his nose in a book. What are you reading, Gandhi? He asked curiously. I caught up on this cool Japanese show and I didn't want to wait for new episodes, so I decided to get the comic, Gandhi said with a smile as he looked up from his comic. Manga, and that's cool, don't you think, bud? Abe said as he smiled at his friend before he looked at Naruto. Gandhi can read, he asked, blinking in surprise as he had never seen his friend read a book before. Yes, I can read, Gandhi said as he went back to his book, covering his face with it. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he looked at the cover of the book, seeing that a man with white hair with his eyes covered was on the cover, but his eyes widened as he saw the title before he snatched the book from Gandhi. Oi. Not cool, bro. Gandhi yelled as he approached Naruto to try and get his book back from the blonde who was reading through it rapidly. That mother effer. Naruto yelled as he looked up from the book with a look of rage on his face. What's wrong now? Joan asked as she and the others looked over after hearing Naruto shout. Probably missed his medication, Cleo said with a roll of her eyes. Don't test me, Patent Zero. I'm gonna kill that quack. Naruto yelled as he threw the book he was reading over his shoulder, which Gandhi caught before he ran off towards the school and kicked the doors down before entering. What's eaten him? Confucius asked Abe and Gandhi. No idea. He took one look at the manga Gandhi was reading and next thing we know he says he's going to kill Scudworth, Abe said as he shrugged in bewilderment. Isn't that normal for Uzumaki? JFK asked as he raised an eyebrow at this. With Scudworth. Meanwhile with Scudworth he was in his office along with Mr. B. I can't believe that Candide ordering me to come up with some way to put the students under stress for the midterms, Scudworth grumbled as he crossed his arms. Don't you do that without being asked, Wesley? Mr. B asked as he looked up from dusting the shelves nearby. It's the principle of the thing, Mr. B. How am I gonna come up with a plan to stress out the entire student body before the midterms? Scudworth yelled as he waved his arms in the air. Before Mr. B could respond there was a knock on the door before. Crash. Naruto smashed it open, embedding his guitar into the door like an axe. Naruto, my boy. What can I do for Scudworth was saying before he was cut off. Save it, you quack. I know what you did and I'm gonna take it out of your hide. Naruto yelled as he raised his guitar into the air. You want to be more specific, ga. Scudworth was saying before Naruto grabbed him by the front of his lab coat. I know what you did while I was frozen. Now confess your sins or it's 30 whacks. Naruto yelled as he shook the mad principal for emphasis. He knows I cloned her, Mr. B. Get out the trank-laced ramen. Scudworth yelled in a panic before Naruto threw him against the wall. You dare joke about defiling ramen? After stealing my manuscript? That's it. Naruto yelled as he raised his guitar ready to swing it at the principal. Manuscript? What manuscript? Scudworth asked with a nervous smile. Don't play innocent, you quack. I saw Gandhi reading Jujutsu Kaisen, which was one of my manuscripts. Now confess. Naruto yelled in a rage before he smashed his guitar against the wall for emphasis, leaving a hole in the wall. Okay, I confess. I took one of your manuscript and sold it overseas to fund the school. Scudworth yelled as he bowed his head in a panic. 1. You cleaned his entire manuscript shelf out, Wesley, Mr. B said as he raised his arm. You sell out, Herc. Scudworth yelled as he looked up at the robot butter before Naruto grabbed him by his throat. You sold them all. Those were my ideas, you quack. Naruto yelled as he shook the principal by his throat. And you should be proud. Your ideas funded both the school and my research for 20-something years, and some of them were actually pretty good, though I gotta say, Dragon Maid. I know you were a hormonal teenager, but woof, Scudworth said with a nervous chuckle as Naruto growled in a rage as he raised his guitar in the air before. Smash! He smashed it into Scudworth's gut before dropping him to the ground, wheezing for breath. Do you feel better now? Mr. B asked Naruto. I will when I get my money for my ideas. Naruto yelled as he holstered his guitar. With how much chaos you cause, why would I give you money just so you can cause way more chaos and get us in trouble? Scudworth asked as he struggled to his feet while holding his stomach. What's that? You want me to beat the candy out of you until you pay up? Well, if you insist. Naruto said with a smile as he looked at Scudworth as he grabbed the neck of his guitar. I surrender. Mr. B called him off. Scudworth yelled in terror hearing this. Here, take this, Mr. B said as he handed Naruto an envelope. What's this? Naruto asked as he too the envelope. It's a bank account I had set up for you after the quack started selling you ideas. I took 50% off all payments and residuals and had it put away for you, Mr. B said calmly as Naruto took out a slip of paper and a bank card. I knew the books weren't balancing out. Scudworth yelled out in a rage hearing this. Holy CRP. I'm going to Universal Studios. Naruto yelled as he read the balance of his new bank account and smiled. Before you go waste your new fortune, we need a favor, Mr. B said as he raised an arm. Normally I would say no, but I'm in a good mood now, so what do you need, Mr. B? Naruto asked as he put away his documents and bank card. We were asked by the board of shadowy figures, Scudworth was saying before he was cut off. Okay, 2 things, 1, I wasn't talking to you, quack, and 2, why the hell would I do anything to help the League of Shadowy wannabe Amanda Wallers? Naruto asked as he looked at the mad principal as he dug in his ear with his finger boredly. You get a free pass to prank the school? Scudworth asked with a slight grin as Naruto paused hearing this. Done. No take-backs. Naruto yelled with a mad grin before he took off out the office doors before his guardians could stop him. Sir, are you sure that was wise? Mr. B asked as he looked at the principal. What? The board wants the students to be stressed before the midterms and the brat loves pulling pranks. This keeps him busy and gives me less work to do and I don't end up a target of his prank. That's a triple win. Scudworth said with a smile as he put his pans together. Sir, not to be rude, but have you lost your mind? Mr. B asked as he looked at Scudworth with a look of surprise at what he had just done. You still had hope. Ha! Naruto yelled as he poked his head into the office before laughing loudly. Just get it done, you brat. Scudworth yelled after Naruto, who quickly ran off with a laugh. "This is gonna go bad in the worst way, Wesley," Mr. B said with a sigh as he knew his adopted son when let off the chain with his pranks he tended to go overboard. "Oh, don't be a little bebot. It will be fine," Scudworth said as with a dismissive wave of his hand. Later with Naruto. After school had gotten out for the day, Naruto had dragged Abe and Gandhi off, and currently they were at Abe's house. More specific, they were in his garage. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Abe asked Naruto as he helped Gandhi get into a costume they had spent the last couple hours making. "I got the green light from the quack himself," Naruto said with a grin as he finished the mask of the outfit. "That doesn't really inspire confidence," Abe said as he slightly sweat-dropped hearing this. "Oh, relax, besides the school could use a new mascot. Now help me get this on, G," Naruto said as he gestured to the finished mask. Abe sighed at this as he approached the mask. "You ready for this, G?" Naruto asked as Gandhi turned to him with an excited grin. "I'll be the best monster I can be, Naruto." Gandhi grinned. "Sure you will, buddy, now just put this on," Abe said, placing the mask on his head. "Whoa, I feel totally transformed, guys," Gandhi said as his friend started laughing. "Wow, Gandhi, you actually got some hair now," Naruto said with a chuckle. "I gotta go get a mirror, wait here guys." "Gandhi, you look downright frightening," Abe said, walking back into the house. "Wow, bud, you pull that off so well, you should have been born a monster," Naruto remarked as they waited. The sage clone tapped his foot on the ground. Meanwhile, through the lenses of his mask, Gandhi's vision slowly began shifting, turning into a deep BLD red as he gazed down at Naruto. "What the heck's he doing making a mirror? What's with you?" Naruto remarked as he looked over at the door Abe had left through before he noticed the crazed look in his friend's eyes. "I am a monster." "VERYYYY." Gandhi roared, tackling Naruto, who screamed out in horror. Later with Scudworth. "What do you mean we've lost 60% of our budget?" Candid shouted, glaring at Scudworth. "Well, Naruto's royalties were pretty much the main income for the school," Scudworth said. "Then find that dim-witted sage and make." Candid stopped her rant when she heard a sound. "What was that?" "I didn't hear anything," Scudworth said when suddenly he heard a crash in the background. "Okay, now I hear it," he said, noticing drool leaking onto his desk. Slowly the trio looked up to see a pair of blazing red eyes. "HGGGG-" the monster roared as the two humans and robots screamed in terror. Back with Naruto. "I'm back, Goodad's garage," Abe screamed, looking around to see the entire garage wrecked, scattered tools, broken shingles and cabinets, and huge hole in garage door, and Naruto on the floor. "Gandhi's an animal," Naruto muttered, gazed with his hair shaggy and a bruised eye. "Gandhi? Naruto, what did you guys do to my garage?" Abe asked in a panic. "Man, F your garage, do you not see me dying?" Naruto screamed as he stood up and dusted himself off. "What happened?" Abe asked. "I don't know, that Anthony Davis looking effer attacked me, then busted through the garage growling like a monster," Naruto said, pointing at the hole in the garage door. "Joan warned you about Gandhi's overactive imagination," Abe said, wagging his finger. "Hey, he said he was on his meds," Naruto argued back, but before they could go any further they heard a loud scream. "Stay back. Help me, ah. Oh man, that's Vango," Abe said. The two quickly rushed outside to where they heard the scream and coming to the site of the wrecked park. Naruto looked around with stunned at seeing the trashed monkey bars before bursting with laughter. "Oh man, we gotta do something, Naruto, this isn't just some prank or play acting. Gandhi actually believes he's become a monster, he's even made off with." Abe was stopped when heard some shouting in the distance with clamoring voices chatting. "Vango!" Harriet was heard yelling. "Hey, where are ya?" Confucius called out. "Vango!" Joan called out. "You are a hey Vango." JFK called out. "We have to warn the others." Abe yelled only to be quickly silenced as Naruto slapped a large strp of tape over his mouth. In your dreams. Naruto laughed, grabbing his friend by the back collar, dragging him along to hide behind a nearby tree where they watched as the other clones walked into the school completely unaware. Dude, this prank is gonna go viral, we're definitely getting 1 million. Naruto laughed, running in after the other clones after they entered the school. Naruto, no. What are you doing? Abe cried, muffled by the tape before he ran after his friend. In the gym. Hey Vango, where are you? Topher called out, walking through the halls when he spotted something in the gym. Well, someone left a plate or shrimp unattended. Don't mind, I do. Topher said, reaching to pick up a shrimp while a pair of eyes watched him from behind some bleachers. Meanwhile, Naruto and Abe hid behind the gym equipment, the presidential clone trying to pry the duct tape off his mouth as the tendril slowly began encircling Topher. With a hard pull, Abe was finally able to pull the tape off, leaving a bruise. Ouch. Abe said, but quickly focused on more urgent things. Topher, he yelled his warning to Lade as Topher was tightly constricted by the tentacle, crushing his lugs, causing his cheeks to puff up before he was yanked away. Did you see that? Naruto shouted, rolling over laughing. What have we done? We've actually created a monster. Abe said in despair. I know. Naruto said, placing his hand on his friend's shoulder. And it's glorious. He laughed loudly. We need to get out of here and warn the others. Abe yelled as he headed out the back way with Naruto quickly behind him. With Joan. Meanwhile, with Joan, Frida, Harriet, Solana, Cleo, Confucius and JFK were making their way through the halls. I think I heard something over here, guys, Confucius said as he led the way towards the gym. Yeah, and I'm the Queen of England, Solana said with a scoff as she thought this was a waste of time. Please, if anyone here is a queen, it's me, Cleo said with a scoff as she looked into her compact mirror. We don't celebrate being the school bicycle these days, prom queen, Solana said with a flat tone of voice, getting a look of annoyance from Cleo. Let's just find the others and get out of here, Joan said as she led the way towards the gym doors where Confucius was heading. You are yeah, the less time at school the better, JFK said with a nod of agreement. But as the rest of the group approached, the door burst open and what looked like a tentacle grabbed Confucius and dragged him inside before a ear-piercing roar was heard. What the hell? Joan yelled as the others all jumped back in surprise. Confucius. Harriet yelled in surprise at the clone team being taken. Run for it. Cleo yelled as she quickly made her way for the back door, which was nearby, the others right behind her. Outside. Meanwhile, Naruto and Abe had made it outside, and as they made their way to the parking lot, the front doors of the school burst open as the others ran out screaming in terror. Hey sis, what's up? Naruto asked as he struggled not to laugh. Run for it. Harriet yelled in terror as she hid behind a nearby car. Whatever it is, it took Confucius. Frida yelled as she hid behind a tree. And Topher, but Solana said with a shrug at this. That's hot, Naruto said with a grin at hearing this. I said 8 feet, you idiot. Solana yelled as she took out her sledgehammer and pointed it at Naruto for emphasis. Before Naruto could respond, they heard another loud roar from inside the school. Quick! To my house! Cleo yelled as she led the way towards her house with Joan, JFK, Harriet, Frida right behind her. Hey, wait for us! Solana yelled as Naruto and Abe went after them. Every man for themselves, and I know what I said. Cleo yelled as she let Joan, Harriet, Frida and JFK into her house before she slammed her door shut. Seeing this, Naruto approached the door and after coughing into his hand. Help! Help! The monster is gonna get me! Pfft! Hey! Naruto yelled out in terror as he smashed his fists on the door before he snorted in laughter and Abe shoved him aside. Don't listen to him. He's just playing. There's nothing to worry about. Abe yelled thither door. Take a hike, you losers. Cleo yelled as she locked the door. F that, you better let them in, you idiot. Joan was heard yelling from inside the house. Abe smiled hearing this, glad that Joan was worried about them. "Come on, let's go around back, I have to see the looks on their faces," Naruto said as he dragged Abe towards the back way. Solana raised an eyebrow at this, but before she could follow she heard a crash and hid behind a nearby fence, and after a few moments she activated her Byakugan and saw the monster that was hunting them only. "Oh, you have got to be kidding me," Solana said as she pinched her nose and sighed. With Naruto. Meanwhile with Naruto, he was struggling to pull open one of the back windows to Cleo's house. Gah! What kind of locks do these people have? Naruto yelled as he let go of the window. Abe walked over to the back door, calmly opening it while giving Naruto a smug look. "I hate it when you do that," Naruto said just as Joan, Frida, Harriet and Cleo came running into them, causing them all to fall in a pile. "Naruto, I swear I'm gonna get you back for this," Abe groaned out. "Hey sis, what's up?" Naruto asked Joan in greeting. "It took JFK." Joan yelled in a panic. "That's bad, ow," Naruto asked before Joan slapped him. Suddenly a shadow approached them and they all looked up as the Gandazilla stood before them, roaring so loud he shook up the house. Gandazilla was a towering creature that looked like a mix of a squid, a snake and an insect, with two large yellow pincers from the sides of its head with large red eyes above Gandhi's own. He also had 4 long tentacle arms and a long tail. "Nice entrance, man," Naruto said as Cleo, Frida and Harriet screamed in terror, causing Abe to cover his ears. As Gandazilla roared at them, Abe held out what looked like a candy bar, which made the monster pause and look at the offered treat before Abe threw it to the side, causing the monster to run off after Oti. "There's the old clubhouse," Abe shouted, pointing out to a green treehouse nearby. The clones quickly ran towards the tree, Abe ushering everyone up. "Thanks, Abe," Joan said as she climbed up, causing Abe to blush, followed by Frida, then Harriet. "Out of the way, D-head," Cleo yelled, stomping on Abe's face as she climbed up. "Overwhelming fear is not an excuse for rudeness, Cleo," Abe said, noticing him going up. He looked down to see he was on Naruto's head as he climbed up, shutting the door. "It's okay guys, we'll be safe here," Abe said as he looked at everyone. "Are you sure, Abe?" Joan asked as she looked at him scared. "He's in his own little world now, the best thing is to just ignore him," Abe said as the group looked down, seeing Gandazilla running around the tree. "The beast circles with hunger. We must appease it with a sacrifice," Cleo screamed, holding up Harriet. "Put me down, you JRK," Harriet shouted out in a panic. "Hold it. You can't play his game. You'll only encourage his bad behavior," Abe argued as he held out his arms. "So what, it's funny?" Naruto shrugged, not giving a f about the whole situation. "Let go of me," Harriet said, hitting Cleo in the head, causing her to let go. "See," Naruto said as he laughed. "There's only one thing to do. Someone needs to go down and give him a timeout." "I'll go," Abe said with a gloomy expression. "Killjoy," Naruto mumbled, crossing his arms. "Oh, Abe. You're so brave, I'll never forget you," Joan said, kissing his cheek before walking away weeping, much to Abe and Naruto's shock. Suddenly they all begin to feel the tree shake as down below Gandazilla was hammering into the tree with his head, and with one more powerful hit the treehouse came crumbling down with all the clones coming with it. Abe and Frida pushed away some of the debris. "Are you alright, Frida?" Abe asked. "Yeah, I'm cool, stretch." Suddenly Gandazilla's jaw clamped down on Frida before slurping her. The monster burst from the wreckage, holding Joan, Cleo, and Harriet captive as it crawled away. "It's got me by my butt," Cleo screamed out in terror. "Help, you guys," Harriet cried out in a panic. "I'm so sorry, guys. He's just trying to be the best monster he can." Abe paused as Naruto burst from the debris covered in bruises. "Hey, if you find any teeth lying around, they are mine," Naruto said with a groan before he fell over, getting a groan from Abe. "Clone High basement. Where are you taking us?" Joan asked as the girls were dragged through a dark tunnel filled with some strange ooze-like substance attached to the walls and roof. The monster lifted the girls up, opening its jaw ready to bite down on them. "Please don't eat me." Cleo cried, only for Gandazilla to bite into a box of cereal, sloppily chewing it in his mouth before spewing the contents all over the girls. "That is so gross, dude," Frida said as they were all stuck to that wall where many others were stuck. "Welcome to the org," JFK greeted with a smile. "Man, stop saying that." Sakachua groaned. "Well, this is just a disgusting mess you've made." Candid sneered, looking up at Scudworth and Mr. B, who were stuck next to her. "Me? I didn't do anything," Scudworth yelled out. "Oh please, this is so your fault, you fourth-rate mad scientist," Candid yelled out. "Fourth-rate? I at least rank third or second," Scudworth yelled out. "That doesn't make it any better," Candid yelled back. Meanwhile, Naruto and Abe were looking into the basement from outside through a window. "It looks like Gandhi's living out a sci-fi movie," Abe said as he looked into the room, surprised at how far his friend was taking his role playing. "Gandhi stuck M to the wall with chewed-up cereal, man, that's classic." "Well, I'm heading home," Naruto said, bursting out laughing before nonchalantly walking away. "Naruto, this isn't funny. We can't just leave the guys here." "Wait. He's coming, Abe said to his friend before he noticed Gandazilla coming out. "He can't see us," he said, yanking Naruto behind a bush, watching as their costumed friend slithered out of the basement window and slithered away. "What a goof," Naruto said with a grin as he watched his friend. "Naruto," Abe whispered, ushering his friend over as they climbed down the window to the monster's lair. "Get us down," Confucius yelled out to them. "Why you guys gotta ruin our org, go away," JFK yelled. "Oh my god, Abe, I knew you'd come," Joan yelled out. Happy to see her friends. "I knew you brats were behind this," Candid yelled out in a rage. "Weziali," Mr. B yelled out. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get you down now," Abe said, trying to calm his friends. "We?" Naruto repeated, raising an eyebrow at this. "Yes. Come on, Naruto. Enough is enough. Look at them. You're just gonna leave them?" Abe shouted as he gestured to the wall of captured victims. Yes," Naruto said with a raised eyebrow. "Please no," Cleo yelled out in a panic. "Thank God," JFK yelled happily. "Cone on you guys, this isn't funny," Frida yelled. "Unless you guys wanna pay $50 a pop." Naruto smirked, rubbing his fingers. "Man, F you," Cleo shouted. "That's not fair," Vango yelled. "You're a dead man, Uzumaki," Candid shouted. "That's my boy. Taking advantage of every opportunity," Scudworth yelled happily. "Except the quack, he pays double," Naruto said with a grin. "F you," Scudworth yelled out in a rage. "Ha, no skin off my bones now, who's first, shut and pay the F up," Naruto said just as a massive show loomed over, silencing any more arguments from the clones. Naruto, noticing drool on his shoulder and looked up to see Gandhi above him, Naruto quickly jumped away just as he was about to bite down. "He wants the skin off my bones, Abe," Naruto shouted in terror as he hugged Abe close. "Ha! Not so funny now, is it?" Cleo shouted, receiving the shoe to the face courtesy of Naruto. "Okay, that's it, you're about to get popped," Naruto said, pulling out his guitar just as Abe stepped in. "Hold it right there, mister. Haven't you caused enough trouble in one day, Gandhi?" Abe said sternly. "Check it out, Lincoln's yelling at it," JFK said, amazed. "I know this guy didn't just say Gandhi," Frida said, catching that last part. "Everything we've been through, it was just a prank." But it's all fun and games till someone's suspended from a wall. Abe said, only for the monster to retaliate with a loud roar. Only for someone to grab the monster's head from the back and with a pull. Hiya guys. Gandhi was saying before he smiled at his friends. The monster is Gandhi. Confucius said, surprised at seeing this. Right on. They had me going, huh, Mr. B? Scudworth asked with a grin at his robot butter. Dang bro, that's twisted. Frida with a groan. I'm off cereal forever. Harriet said with a shudder. What the hell did you do to my friends, you maniac? Solana said as she held up the monster mask Gandhi had been wearing. Gandhi pretended to be a monster and terrorized the living hell out of us. Do you have any idea how long it will take for me to get my hair fixed? Cleo said with a look of rage on her face. Was I talking to you? Solana asked with an uncaring look at the Egyptian clone. Naruto, Abe, Gandhi, when I get loose you three are so dead. Joan yelled out as she struggled to get loose from the wall. Hold on Joan, I'll get you down, then we can take turns kicking those idiots' teeth, gah. Solana said as she grabbed Joan's arm and started to pull on her, but because of Joan's struggling she slipped on some cereal on the floor and slammed face first into the wall, getting stuck herself. Oh, for F's sake. Now I'm stuck. Solana yelled out in a rage as she struggled to get loose from Joan. Is it wrong that this is kinda hot? JFK asked the others, seeing this. Shut up. Joan yelled out in a rage. Yes, dear. JFK yelled back quickly, shutting up. And you. If you want to see tomorrow you three idiots Joan was yelling before she and everyone else looked over to where the three Amigops trio was long gone through the busted door. Hey, where'd they go? Harriet yelled out in a panic. Get your sorry asses back here. Joan yelled in a rage. Get us down. Get us down. Scudworth yelled out. I'm gonna kill you. Solana yelled out as she struggled to get loose. With Naruto. Later, with Naruto and his two friends, we find them in what looked like a old bomb shelter which was just outside of town, which was filled with snacks, a bed and a wall of monitors which was showing love footage of the town and high school to the three in hiding clones. Naruto. Hiding in this old bunker isn't gonna save us when guys eventually flake off the wall. Abe said in a panicked and hushed tone. Don't worry guys, this is an old war bunker I found way back, even Joan doesn't know about it. A month or two they'll forget the whole thing. Now who's ready to play some Smash Brothers? Naruto said, sipping a soda before he held up a game controller. I call Piranha Plant. Gandhi yelled happily as he sat down on the couch. A month later. Clonehigh was up in flames as a mob of angry clones led by Solana, whose hair was dyed BLD red, marched with pitchforks and torches ready with scarecrows of Naruto, Gandhi and Abe stabbed with knives. Meanwhile, inside the bunker, Abe glared at Naruto with raised brow as they watched the lice footage. Okay, we may be here a while. Naruto said with a sheepish chuckle. Man bro, your clone wife is one crazy but lady. Gandhi said with a wince, seeing Solana smashing the scarecrow of Naruto with her sledgehammer. Yeah, she's taut, my what? Naruto said as he looked at Gandhi while Abe placed his finger over his lips, warning Gandhi to shut up. You know Solana is a clone of Hinata Hyuga Uzumaki, your clone dad's wife. Frida told us all about it a couple of weeks ago. Gandhi said with a shrug. Naruto's eyes widened at this before his eyebrows started to twitch violently and he started to shake in a rage. Naruto, calm down. If you tell they might hear Abe was saying before. Everyone struggled to keep their balance as the earth began to shake. Crash. Oh. Gandhi said, looking up as the door of the bunker was torn off, revealing a group of very angry clones. There they are, comrades. Caesar yelled as he pointed down into the bunker. I want first crack at them, oh God. Van Gogh yelled as he looked down into the bunker with a glare. Before he was grabbed and thrown out of the way by Solana. Like F, you get first crack. I get them first. Solana yelled as she made her way down the ladder with the others following her. Ah! Abe and Gandhi yelled in terror at them caught. Okay, time for Plan R. Naruto said as he started digging through a box. What's Plan R? Abe asked in a panic. Run for your lives. Naruto said, taking out a bottle of bear mace before spraying it over the others just as they lowered themselves into the bunker. My eyes. Solana shouted as she rubbed her eyes in pain. My hair. Cleo screamed as she held her hair. My unibrow. Frida shouted as she held her fleeing unibrow. Don't let them get away. Joan shouted as they all gave chase after the three Amigops as they made their way up the stairs out of the bunker. The group of clones quickly gave chase as they started to chase the trio of clones. Clouds move over Clonehigh, and sitting on the side of the roof Solana listened to music on her phone while looking off in an aimless direction, kicking her feet back and forth. As she sat, her mind wandered away, thinking back to her cloned mother Hinata Hyuga. The woman's long hair flows in the wind, stretching out her hand as a strand of DNA leaks outwards from her palm. The DNA leaks into a tube containing a small baby Solana growing inside. Baby Solana crawls around the ground looking in all directions as she passes by, wandering her surroundings. Slowly she starts to grow into a child walking through the streets, passing by Confucius sitting on the porch on his phone. She slowly grows into a preteen sitting in front of a mirror of herself. She stares sadly at her reflection as it shifts to Hinata Hyuga. Her look of sadness turns into anger, causing her to smash her fist, shattering the glass. The glass shards freeze in mid-arm, spinning round and round, shifting from Hinata to Solana, each shard slowly shattering one by one before the final fell, showing Solana closing her eyes as a tear leaked from her cheek. Solana strutted down the sidewalk, her hair in pixie cut, wearing a black jacket, blue jeans and a purple shirt. Harriet and Frida pass her by waving, but the tomboy clone continued on her path. The preteen soon runs forward, running the subway, the beach, the playground, Clonehigh, band room. Soon a fully grown Solana runs through the front door of Clonehigh. Confucius, Harriet, Frida greet her as she passes by. She sees Topher standing in the way and kicks him in the back of the head with a grin. Solana walks through the halls of Clonehigh, passing by Naruto. The two clones turn to each other. The world is swept up in wave of rose petals. The original Naruto and Hinata smiled, hugging each other with warm, loving smiles. The cherry blossoms blow back again, revealing Solana shaking Naruto by his throat while he had hearts in his eyes as Abe, Joan and the others struggled to pull them apart. Naruto and Solana stood back to back, looking up at the night sky, slowly turning to each other. Ocean blue looking into moon white, their faces slowly inched towards each other, bit by bit closer together, only for face to turn red and streaming, making her punch Naruto across the face, sending him flying into the wall. Naruto rubbed the back of his head, looking up at Solana, turning her head away, hiding her blush. She held out her hand, causing the boy to smile as she helped him up. Naruto leaned and grasped Solana's hand, making her blush as Naruto pulled her along towards their friends, Scudworth and Mr. B. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for more crossovers. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author FANFICTION on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.